Sound resumed.
Hello and welcome back to the NUEL, our massive grand tiebreaker final. It is the North versus South All-Star Extravaganza. It is 2-2 between the North and South right now. What an incredible match we just had. Excandrel and Sodit, talk to me. Oh my goodness, I did not turn the music off. There we go.
Wow, that was a big game, to be honest. That was truly incredible back and forth. You know, the North winning early on with that bot lane, Draven getting so far ahead of the game, the South coming back at it, the Baron throws, the Dragon throws, just so much action in the last game, and I think the North just stalled it out too long. Peddy got too big, and they managed to push down those two Nexus turrets, which is the key turning point. And although there were some team fights that were turned around, I think all in all, the North should just step back and say, okay, we had the wrong set of champions right here. Hench got shut down. He wasn't that useful in team fights. He only had the Sunfire Cape and the Blade of the Ruined King finished. He was working towards finishing the Randuins, but obviously, you know, Randuins is not as useful until you get it finished. So yeah, they just need to step back. And the Orianna wasn't that far ahead. In fact, was behind the Lissandra. So the Shyvana Ori combo, when both of them were behind, was doing less than desired damage, really. Sodit, you managed to get a good spread of the game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with what you just said there. I mean, I really do feel that Pedrillion on Nasus, you know, once we got past that 30-minute mark, I mean, even at the very start, he reached about 350 stacks on his Q, on his siphoning strike by the 20-minute mark, which is an exceedingly kind of good number to be at by the 20-minute mark. And by late game, he was just hitting towers down so fast. The enemy, no one could really 1v1 him. They would have had to dedicate two people to him. And in the team fights, he could just, you know, two-shot kind of the support. If he managed to get onto the Draven was in real trouble. He always had to kind of have his cleanser, but then the cleanse, he would have had to maybe use that for the Thresh hook. There was just so much kind of so many dangers that the North team had to deal with. I think it was just too much for them. And I mean, what do you think the North team are going to ban out? Do you think they will ban out that Nasus for this next game? Or, I mean, because he was powerful in that game, but was he powerful enough to validate a ban?
If I'm going to be honest with you, Soda, I think he will get banned, especially since the North accidentally banned Rengar, and Rengar's globally banned for this tournament. So, you know, that's a ban that they have to free up. Pedrillion is known for several top laners, though, and Nasus was just one that fit in. If he wants to win lane, Pedrillion can pick up one of his favourites, like Nidalee or something similar, you know. So Pedrillion's really diverse. He's not like a one-trick pony. He's got a big range of champions, a really solid top laner. He used to play mid for ACOG, actually, funnily enough, and moved over to the top lane because actually he was more comfortable there. And you can see why, because he played that really well.
Yeah, definitely. So any second now, we should be heading into Champion Select for the next game. We'll have to see what they do end up banning. I reckon that we will see the Nasus ban, because I feel like it's one of those champions that when you get to sort of high level play, any top player can sort of play Nasus. I mean, I don't mean to disrespect any top laners, but Nasus is one of the easier champions to play. You kind of just have to farm your Q in the early game, make sure you don't die too much, and then late game you've kind of got your damage for free.
I agree with you there, Munch. Mechanically, Nasus isn't very intense, but the trick to playing a good Nasus is wave control. You've got to have excellent wave control to play a good Nasus, and also in the early game you've got to be very solid in terms of your ability to survive, because Nasus has a pretty weak early game. And it's not until post 25 minutes Nasus seems to get into his own. And I agree with you that mechanically, all you have to do is run, hit Q, hit Wither, run, hit Q, hit Wither. You know, that kind of thing is not that mechanically intensive. But it is just having the ability to wave control and avoid ganks and just play generally safe. And that's actually harder than it sounds, because if you get yourself in 1v1 situations that you don't want to be in and end up dying, you'll end up being useless.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, if you do manage to get zoned, like, for example, if you're against like a Riven or a Renekton, you can get bullied really hard. And if you can't get those Q stacks, then you are, like you said, completely useless in the late game as well. So if you do fall behind, and then you're pretty much a dead weight to your team.
Looks like we have a Draven and a Shyvana ban coming out, and finally up with the Dr. Mundo. Draven being banned out against Duxburg, they're calling him out on his one-trick pony. Shyvana being banned out, oddly enough, didn't particularly go too crazily hard in the last game. Kuznia picking up that Elise on that first pick, really solid on her in the jungle. And Nasus being banned out, so Sod it was correct. And Quinn and Evelyn being banned out too. Maybe they're afraid of Kuznia's Evelyn jungle. The Hench has been given his favourite top laner, though. He's going to be a lot more potent on this Renekton than on a Shyvana, I would say, because that's one of the sort of champions that he played to get to where he is in the solo queue. So I'd be expecting Hench to put in a good performance on Renekton because he knows how to play him mechanically, and he plays him very well.
Yeah,
and Druss going onto his Lee. This is going to be an incredible game if those two get locked in.
Right now, this is a terrifying lineup for the Southern team to deal with. I mean, two of such good players on their favourite champions. That is a deadly combo. I mean, Renekton is such a strong champion. Lee Sin is such a strong champion. And when they're played well, they're even stronger. I mean, when you see the best players playing Renekton, they just cannot lose lane. They just absolutely dominate no matter who they're against. It's one of those champions that has no really solid counter that they cannot beat. So if you can get really good with Renekton, you basically cannot, well, in theory, cannot lose lane. So really, really scary right now for the Southern team.
Yeah, and in early 2v2 trades, Lee will outtrade the Elise every time. Elise has that percentage health-based damage, but it's not that potent early on. She's got good execute potential, but she doesn't have good sort of overall damage potential. Lee, however, is a strong early game dueler, especially if he starts up that Doran's Blade. Not a lot of people do tend to do that, but he's still incredibly strong, and there is a Taric Sivir lane possibly being picked up here for the blue team now. We know that Taric has been ever so slightly nerfed in the most recent patch. There hasn't been too much information that has been fed back about his current gameplay style and where he's sitting at the moment, but we know that Sivir is pretty good. She also has been nerfed, so it'll be interesting to see how powerful these are. And Duxburg going over onto that Lucian, surprisingly not getting picked up for Defunct, so Rod's not picking up the Lucian that he did so well on, and Artesh being Henry giving his Blitzcrank, but Blitzcrank into a Taric.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I don't know if I would have picked a Blitzcrank into a Taric. I mean, it's great if you can get the grab on Sivir, but Sivir has the spell shield, and if you grab the Taric, he's just going to stun your AD carry. So really not the best pick. I hope that they change that, because I mean,
well,
I hope they don't. But
there's a big oh no, it goes over to the Zara. There's a big wind up on the Blitzcrank pull, so his rocket grab has a big wind up animation, and if being a player of Rod's skill, Defunct's skill rather, he's going to be able to spell shield it fairly easily. However, Zara also pretty easy to spell shield her roots, but she has very low cooldowns on all of her abilities, so you spell shield one, then you're going to be hit by the other. So you've got to be really careful with that. And Henry's pretty good on his Zyra. I've seen Henry play his Zyra quite a lot. He's very, very good. And
a massive thing about the Zyra pick as well, he's against a Taric. Taric has massive amounts of passive armor for himself and for the Sivir, but Zyra obviously deals magic damage and also deals a massive amount of base magic damage without any items. She doesn't need items to scale well. She scales well with levels. So regardless of how much armor Taric gets, which is what Taric does, he builds armor, they're going to be able to deal a massive amount of damage anyway.
But I mean, don't forget that kind of North have also got Lee Sin and Renekton, and we've got the Lucian with the AD as well. But there's obviously a lot of AD damage coming out for that team. So I think Taric is quite a clever pick in that when it gets to those 5v5 team fights, Taric could be right in the middle, and whilst he's alive, he's going to be stopping so much damage going out on the rest of his team that I think Taric still is quite a smart pick.
Yeah, he has been recently nerfed, so his overall armor giving potential has been nerfed a little bit. Ped actually picking very solidly up in that top lane, picking out the Malphite. Interesting to see which route he builds it. Obviously, he does really well with his armor. Then he also does really well with building AP. So Alex Ich made that very popular, as well as a couple of other players. So I'm interested to see how Ped goes it. But I imagine with the team that's coming up here, he will be going full tank. Very smart pickup by Peddy in that top lane, because the kill potential on Malphite from Renekton is pretty low. Artesh actually hovered over a variety of mid lane champions, settled on the Ziggs, which I think is a really intelligent pick against the Kayle, because it does mean that you don't have to get in close, you can avoid the Q, you can harass from distance, and if you do get in trouble, you can always use that satchel charge to get you out. And also you can delay your ultimate in case that she thinks she's going to die early on. You can delay the ultimate and try and take her out. However, I have been hearing from a couple of people that What the Moose is a good Kale player. He's got such a wide champion pool. After having been called that one-trick pony on the Victor, I think he's kind of stepped it up and decided, hey, I'm mechanically good. I can probably apply these mechanics to a fair few other champions. And, he's Diamond 2. He's been doing really well.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting. Earlier in the tournament, I think it was the second division game, we saw a Kale versus Ziggs mid lane. And we're seeing that again, the Kale being picked up first, followed by the Ziggs to counter it. So we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, last time it started off with the Ziggs really bullying the Kale, but then as the game got later and later, Kale just started to outscale and outdo Ziggs. So we'll have to see if that does happen again, or if it plays out a bit differently this time.
Yeah, you need to remember though that Ziggs was so far ahead, but then threw it pretty hard by just sort of dying 5 times in about 5 minutes. If he hadn't done that and given the Kale a couple of free kills, I think maybe he would have been better off going into that late game. I mean, Ziggs scales pretty well, but Kale scales probably better. And there's a great sort of protect the carry comp coming out from here. You've got the Taric with his stun, you've got Kale with her ultimate, you've got the Cocoon and the spell shield from Sivir, as well as the backup from Pedrilion's ultimate if he needs to get any more peel. The peel coming out from the south right here is really good. I think they've got a good team synergy on the south. I do like the north team, but it does seem like they've kind of picked their comfort champions and hope they're going to mesh them together.
Yeah, I don't know if there's too much synergy really going on. I mean, they do have the Zyra ultimate along with the Ziggs ultimate. Definitely a good combo. Other than that, though, I agree with you. It does seem to be sort of comfort champions. However, individually, they are very, very strong champions. And like we were talking about earlier, Trusted Student on his Lee Sin, the Hench's got his Renekton, Duxbug got Lucian. I mean, there's so many really, really strong champions, and these guys are really comfortable on them as well. So if they can just outplay mechanically, then they're going to win regardless.
Our pre-match analyst, Ovidius, has offered a bit of insight for you guys. So he said that Sivir and Malphite is a deadly initiate. So you have the Malphite ultimate with the Sivir ultimate to catch it up, because obviously Malphite displaces crazy amounts of terrain when he uses his ultimate. Then Sivir's ultimate can get the team to catch up and immediately follow up. Kale provides great peel as well against the Renekton, so slowing him down when he's trying to slice and dice in and get onto the Sivir, as well as Sivir probably being able to use that spell shield to sort of dissuade the Hench using that stun on her. But sort of the North may have picked pretty well against this, because if the ultimate comes out, you've got the Zyra ultimate for the disruption. So great pre-match analysis coming out from Ovidius right here. He'll be joining us afterwards as well to do a bit of a post-game wrap-up. Yeah,
excellent. So 40 seconds until our delay is up. In the team fight phase, who do you reckon is going to have the advantage?
I don't want to, but I have to give it to the South.
Correct.
Look, I will champion the North to the ends of the earth, but just looking at this team comp, how easy is it going to be able to kite the North with the team that the South have got? Like,
and I mean, don't forget as well that when they try to siege into turrets, if it ever gets to that sort of stage, you've got Kale who'll be able to kind of heal up over a bit of time. You've got Taric who can throw out a bit of healing as well. So they'll be able to regen in the turrets and kill a bit more time and let their other lanes push if it gets to that situation.
Yeah, but we all know this North don't care about that. They're going to crush their lanes. The team fight phase is going to mean nothing to them. They're just going to say, hey, we've got our comfort champions. We've got Druss on Lee Sin. I'm hyping him up here, and I hope he puts in a good game. It's going to be really awkward, but he will. I know he's a good Lee Sin player, so I'm really sort of happy to see this, and also with the versatility that Renekton provides in terms of tanky damage, Druss can also probably look to go a little bit more damage. He can probably pick up a couple of damage items and sort of get some kills early on. That'd be really interesting to see. However, I do know the Hench does like to go that Ravenous Hydra Renekton, so it's all going to be a bit up in the air. And I think it depends on how the lanes are going or how they build. If the Hench sort of dominates early on against Pedi, then I think he'll be looking to go down that damage route and capitalise on that, going into the Ravenous Hydra to Sunfire, which is a really solid build. However, like I said, I just think that the team composition coming out from the South is really well thought through. Really well thought through.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of looking at both teams waiting to go into game, and you're thinking if the Hench on Renekton, if he gets bullied out of lane and doesn't get to be as tanky as he wants to be before the team fight phase, Lee Sin isn't really a natural tank. And whereas on the South team, you've got Malphite, naturally tanky. You've got Taric, he'll be naturally tanky and absorb a lot of damage. And if Renekton isn't able to match them in kind of tankiness, then South are just going to steamroll into their back line. They'll be able to pick off Lucian, pick off Ziggs, and pick off Zyra.
Yeah, I just think this is going to be one of those games that if it comes to mid-game and no one's really winning, the South are going to have the better fight here. Interesting to note, Peddy's opted not to go for that teleport Malphite. And that's something that probably is going to disrupt their dragon control early on. Because I think that Peddy is integral to their engage comp. You need to have that Malphite ultimate followed up with a Sivir ultimate to make the South team comp work. So if the North can capitalize on that and go for those dragons early on, and take advantage of the fact that Malphite will not be in that bot lane or in that bot area, I think that's going to work out well for the North.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with the choice of summoners on the Malphite. I mean, it can work, but against a Renekton, how often are you really going to be going too aggressive on Malphite? Like, the only time you can possibly go aggressive is when Elise comes in for a gank, but generally, versus a Renekton, I'd probably want to go for that teleport so I could show my presence elsewhere around the map rather than trying to go aggressive on my lane opponent.
A lot of Malphites these days, I mean, okay, right, I'm going to offer you two reasons why he may have gone for that Ignite. Alex Sich building that Haunting Guys into Athenes, going for a crazy sort of burst Malphite, and Wicked today building Triforce on the Malphite, and it worked really well. So there's the two reasons why he may be trying to follow up a sort of similar build. Again, that's going to be dependent on how he does in lane. Wicked built it because he was 3-0-8 on Malphite at the end with a ton of CS. If Peddy can sort of emulate that, then maybe we'll be seeing something similar.
But we do have a pause. We're getting a lot of pauses these games. I'll just reshuffle the players so they're in the correct slots on the scoreboard. So, having a look at the starting items, we've got a machete and pots. Interesting, yeah, very.
Yeah, well, that's a given. And trust the teams are opting to go for the Doran's Blade start on Lee Sin that some Lee Sins do opt for, and just going for that nice, safe 5-pot start with that machete. It's something that you're probably sort of expecting an invade. You tend to go the Doran's Blade if you want to go for those early trades. Does it look like Zyra is picking up a spell sword now? That was picked up on Annie last time, and I just do not rate that Spell Thief sword, to be honest. I don't think you can gain anywhere near as much gold as you would be able to with the Ardent Coin, which is probably the safer option on the Zyra. He's going to be forced to get into auto-attack range, which is going to put him in a vulnerable position against the Taric stun. What do you think, Solid? I don't agree with that item choice.
I think if they're looking to go aggressive and keep South Team pinned under their tower, then I think it can work out. I mean, I said Zyra is a particularly kind of both Zyra and Annie are very AP heavy supports. Like they're kind of a real hybrid these days. So I mean, personally, I do tend to go for that kind of the spell thief because the plants end up giving you a fair bit of gold off it, and I just think, when your plants are pumping out so much damage as well, when you've got that extra AP. Does it count with the
plants?
Yeah, it's off single target spells as well. It doesn't actually say it in the tooltip, which is kind of silly, but it is off single target spells as well as
single target spell. I can see why it would be more useful on the Zyra. I just think with the Zyra basic attack, she's got quite a low AD and a 525 range on her auto attack, which means she's not really in the position to be doing crazy harass with the auto attack. But if you get it procced from the plants, that's actually a fairly sensible pickup there. So I'm going to eat my words on that one. But I'm going to be watching out if it does get procced by the plants, because I've never seen it done that before. However, I haven't played LoL in a while, so probably missing out on a few things here. Do have the typical Doran's Blade start coming out, and the Doran's Ring coming out on both Ziggs and Kayle. That's an interesting one from Kayle. Just because she's going to be taking some early harass, maybe it would have been safer to go a bit more sustained, like a flask. I know a lot of Kales do tend to do that, especially because of Ziggs, who's going to look at the amount of damage that's coming out just from one auto attack and a Q from Artesh. And the fact that that Q is on such a low cooldown, but he had just missed 2 CS, probably a little bit too bothered about getting the harass down onto what the Moose.
Yeah, and those auto attacks from Ziggs are so potent. Obviously, the abilities do lower the cooldown on his auto attack, so really able to, lower the cooldown on his passive, increasing his auto attacks damage, so able to get a lot of long range harass. And we do have an ignite going down in the top lane. Pedrillion going really aggressive on the Hench. The Hench just not afraid, not going to back away from that one, and he's just like, no, I don't care if you've ignited me, I'm just going to stay here anyway.
He's still got his ignite available. He didn't use it, 'cause I think he's waiting to get level 2 and possibly a league end. He's level 2, Pedrillion's level 1. Pedrillion is smart though, he knows that the Hench will be looking for that level 2 all in, and Pedrillion has wasted his ignite. And that's a really odd level 1 all in from the Malphite.
Yeah, I don't know if that was maybe a misclick. I don't think it was, but like it was oddly aggressive for a Malphite. I mean, he didn't have the damage to follow up on it, and Renekton knew it. So.
He managed to get a Q onto him, followed up with a Q that just missed from the zigzag.
Oh, but we do have Kuznir coming in the top lane. Hench is in a really bad spot here. The Cocoon's going to come out, but it is going to be flashed by Hench. He's going to be able to get away from that one.
Interestingly, Hench had a really good ward that was quite deep into the river. He would have seen Kuznir walk straight past it. Odd that he didn't move back. Maybe just wasn't quite looking at the map. That can happen to the best of us. Hench is going to stick around though. Not sure he's in the position to do anything in lane right now. And Kuznir is sticking around. He knows that the Hench does not have his flash. And Hench is being a little bit too aggressive here. Kuznir is waiting, biding his time. Does look like he's
Just the Student is in the bot lane there. The stun goes down from Tarek, but the slow is down from the cripple. And that is first blood for Just the Student. Garandalf the Grey in a bit of a bad spot here. Does get caught by the roots. They're not going to go for the dive though. He is going to survive on just under 100 HP. The Hench being bullied under tower here by Pedrillion. But Kuznir is here. They're possibly going to go for the dive. I don't know if that's wise. Pedrillion tanking a couple of tower shots here. Kuznir is going to go down to the tower though, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 in the top lane.
Did you see that slice and dice from the Renekton there? That was a brilliant outplay. Slices through, slices back out, and just Ped couldn't tank anymore. Look at him walking around the turret, just managed to stun him up, and then the tower damage does the rest with the ignite. Really great play from Hench on his Renekton there, and you can see why he mains it, because he's very good. And again, Dross has that beautiful map presence, comes down to that bot lane, manages to pick up the kill onto the Sivir, wisely backed out from diving the Tarek. You don't want to dive a Tarek with that stun.
Yeah, and exactly like the other game that we saw, Ziggs versus Kayle, almost double his CS, and it's exactly the same as we saw a Chalice in the Doran's Ring versus double Doran's Ring, and it's exactly the same story in almost every lane that these two have. I mean, Kayle really not that strong in the early game, and Ziggs' early game is so strong, especially against a melee champion. But taking a look in the top lane, Malphite is out farming the Renekton by 8 CS. That is a big deal. Garandalf the Grey though going aggressive on Henry's, taking a massive amount of damage actually from Duxbug there.
Looks like Dross has picked up that Madred's Razor, opting not to go for the jungle item with the Spirit Stone. He's going to want to go for that quick clear and high farm. Looks like what the Moose is probably going to get caught on. Great satchel charge, pushes him to the side. Dross is going to go in. He's probably going to get under turret. I think he's still got his flash available. Wow, there's a bit of an odd discrepancy.
Armitage is going to dive though. Ooh, he's going to survive on very little health there.
Wow, and looks like Kuznir's going to come in. He's got the repel, comes in with a great Q onto him and just picks up the kill there. He was sticking around a little bit too long. I think either way he would have gone down. And right now we've got a level 5 Dross up against Kuznir in the mid lane, who is level 4.
Yeah, Kuznir did flash for that venomous bite there at the end.
Wow,
really good play by them.
Quick.
Yeah, it was a very quick play. But did have to flash for that, so kind of good for the Sigs, but did go down, so not really that good.
And Petty has picked up a chain vest and a cloth armor, so he's already going for big armor in that top lane. But Hench is actually doing a decent amount of damage just with that Doran's Blade. And Petty's actually getting bullied out a little bit here. And to be honest, Artesh is now... Hench is now sort of catching up in CS, just 7 or so behind, and that's not a big deal at this point in the game. So he's still well in the lane, and after that dive, it's still got the gold from the kill, whereas Petty has only got the gold from the assist there.
Yeah, and he definitely needed to sort of catch up, I guess. And Renekton does hit a massive power strike at power spike, at level 4. So he did kind of need to wait for that before he could really start to bully the Malphite.
Dross in the bot lane, getting spied out by the ward in that side rush. It does look like the lane is getting pulled over to the side wall.
We do have both junglers here in the bot lane there. Henry's getting caught by the Elise. The Cocoon goes down and the massive damage coming out. The repel goes down and that's going to be a kill for Kuznir. And really, the North doesn't have anything to answer for it.
Yeah, there were no wards in the river, and unfortunately that was just bad timing because Malphite is now level 6, as well as the Hench being level 6. Both of them have really strong ultimates early on. Pedrillion just sort of doing this all the time, forcing Hench to come up and try and push the wave to turret because Peddy's feet freezing it quite well, sort of like that mid freeze range that's sort of in between the first brush and the turret on his side. He's doing a good job and he's surviving the lane because of it. It does look like Ziggs is going to be handed over the blue. Dross just passing it over to him. He's currently at 28 CS, and at least it's 3-1-0. Dross is only 1-0-1. However, Dross did pick up that first blood gold and is slightly ahead on farm, if only by 4. So both junglers sort of doing healthily on gold right now. Dross currently sitting at 2.3k, and Kuznia sitting on 2.5, so both of them are doing quite well right now. However, Scary Elise on 3-0-1-0 is going to be hard to deal with, especially sort of the burst that she provides.
Yeah, and as we saw on Henry's right there, got the cocoon on, used the spider, used the Q, goes into spider form, gets the venom spike down. I mean, nearly globaled the Zyra there. Had to repel after her, but even though Zyra flashed, still got the kill, so it just shows how potent Elise is.
Yeah, really good jungler, sort of well fitted into the top tier 1 jungler meta right now, along with Shyvana and those kind of people. Jarvan and Lee having just slipped back really in that sort of meta, because right now it's being dominated by the Shyvanas, by the Elises. Sodic, you've been watching the game so far. What can you report on the lanes?
Honestly, I'd say this is like the most even game so far. I mean, Peddy and kind of the Hench on top lane, they're just trading blows back and back. You've got both the junglers who have had they've had effective ganks, they've made an impact in the game. You'd maybe give it slightly in favour of Elise at the moment, because obviously because he's got that 3-1-0. But I mean, Lee Sin showed really early in the game that he's effective. In bot lane,
Just the student coming in on the top lane on Pedrillion, gets the cripple down, manages to land the Q as well. Pedrillion in a bad spot, but he is just going to be able to walk away from that one. Did still have his ultimate available, so they didn't want to dive that one.
Yeah, this is a really odd choice from Dross to go to the top lane when he's currently sitting on so much armor and they're two very sort of flat AD champions. If I were him, I'd be avoiding the Malphite. I don't think the Renekton has the kill potential. I don't think Leah Renekton can get rid of the Malphite, who especially has Flash and his ultimate available. I think he really needs to be sort of focusing his efforts on this bot lane. It does look like Kuznia is again going for this sort of really early solo dragon, and he's going to get away with it as well. So that's a really great play from him. It does look like Duckbug and Henry are being pushed back by Defunct, who is level 6 now, as well as Tarek being level 6. So Duckbug's just picking up his level 6 just then, and Henry's still yet to pick his up. So yeah, Lee again heading to this top lane. Does look like there's a bit of a 1v1 going on. Malphite on Peddy doing a good job of getting damage down onto the Hench. He does still have his ultimate available. Both of them have their ultimate available. Again, Dross just heading back up there, wasting a bit of time really. Needs to be sort of focusing on the squishier lanes where Lee can do a bit more damage. Problem with Malphite is he's so hard to lock down once he's post 6.
Yeah, definitely. So what the move's getting dived on here. Oh no, Dross the student is going to back away, but the Mega Inferno Bomb doing masses of damage. What the move's only just surviving that, and Kuznia taking a lot of damage. Artesh doing absolute work in this mid lane. And yeah, they could take this out. But Tarek getting the Shatter and his Radiance combo onto Zyra, getting loads of damage down. Defunct not going to be able to quite follow that up though. They are going to decide to back away from that one slightly. But now, Duxbug is trying to dive onto this Tarek. I don't know if he does manage to get the kill, but the root's down onto Defunct. He's going to be able to pick up the kill on Zyra, but he's going to go down to Duxbug as well. Or is he? He's going to be able to walk away. I expected him to go down, but he managed to walk away. Well played.
Yeah, Lucian still has his barrier available now, however. Does look like Dross did ward over the side to see if she was backing away close to the turret. She hasn't, so Dross is just going to come down and get some damage onto that tower. Does look like Defunct is still got his pots available. He's going to sit on this tower. I don't think they know that Elise is there, so if they try and dive, this could be a bit of a mistake for them. Duxbug does not have any mana to do sort of the damage potential that Lucian can do with his skills. Remember, his passive is only procced once he uses a skill, and he gets a lot of damage from that double auto attack that he gets after using a skill. Again, in the mid lane, what the move's actually forced to use his ultimate, probably was going to survive regardless. No, it didn't actually need to use his ultimate to survive there, but it's Kayle. His ultimate's going to be up again in about 10 seconds, so really no harm done in the long run, whereas Artesh is going to have to wait a little bit longer if the Mega Inferno Bomb has just come on cooldown. In fact, they come on cooldown at exactly the same time, so I don't know what I was talking about there. Again, the great pickup though from both of the AD carries getting a 1 kill each. Defunct is currently 8 CS ahead, however.
Yeah, but obviously not that big of a deal, especially since Duxbug does have that assist, so the gold going to be fairly even. Obviously, the Sivir slightly ahead in gold though because of that dragon pickup early in the game by our Elise on by Kuznir on our Elise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in the
that was-
CS lead, the only lane there's a noticeable lead is in mid lane, and you would expect Ziggs to, have kind of 10-20 CS lead at this stage.
Ziggs has picked up his Athenes and Holy Grail already, putting him a tier 3 item ahead of the KO. KO just working towards that Nash's Tooth, but still has yet to finish the Stinger and the combination goal that is there. Does look like Lucian Duxbug has opted to go for Infinity Edge first, which is odd considering that he scales so well with Triforce in the early to mid game. Hasn't picked up any boots either, so he has got the damage potential over Defunct right now, but you've got to remember that Defunct is Sivir. All he needs to do is pop his ultimate and he gets that attack speed boost. Does look like Taric is going in for a stun, gets caught up by the Elise's plants. Defunct gets taking a piercing light to the face right then. Does look like in top lane, Hedge is getting bullied out by Ped, and Ped is doing such a good job on this Malphite.
Yeah, and this is really interesting because all game everyone's been quite aggressive, and yet actually when it comes down to it, there's not been that much happening. I mean, we've had 8 kills and we're 13 minutes in, so really it's not that many kills, but the gold is so even. I mean, literally 100 gold
South
difference.
are about 50 to 100 gold ahead right now, and to be honest, we haven't really seen much from Druss on his lead. There are no wards in the bot lane. Doesn't look like he's going to try.
We are going to go for a full engage in the bot lane, but in the meantime, the Hench is getting dived in the top lane. The Zyra ult did go down. Garandalf the Grey getting really low. Defunct getting really low. Just a student picking up a double kill on the bot lane. In the meantime, Elise picking up a kill onto the Hench in the top lane, and that is going to be a tower for a tower, unless what the Moose can somehow defend this bot tower.
I think he knows that all 4 of them are there, so he's going to have to...
Oh, the satchel charge though from Ziggs, managing to get him, but he is going to be able to walk away with the movement speed from his heal.
Yeah, Dragon's up in 1 minute 22, so there's no risk of South losing that Dragon, and they are going to just trade that top turret for it. Again, Hench did a good job of delaying the Elise and the tower dive there, but didn't have the health or the damage to sort of get the same amount of damage off, and Elise has picked up her Spirit in the Ancient Golem. Druss has opted to go for a Brutalizer, so... Right now we're seeing a damage Lee Sin with a top lane tanky Renekton, and he has opted to rush that Sunfire first. And actually, at least probably slightly better off here, just picking up Druss's red buff as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily agree with the decision to go damage. However, he does have 3 kills, so he's the highest. He's got the most kills on his team, so I guess he's going for the damage because he does need to sort of carry this early to mid game and get his team fed. So probably going to go tanky after his first damage item.
Yeah, now it looks like he's building towards Blocker there and Solari, so going for a bit more of a utility item. I was actually wrong in the item choice that Duxbug's opted for. He's gone for that Bloodthirster to sort of bolster his culling and piercing light damage. And maybe looking to spend that pickaxe into a Last Whisper to go against the Taric. Really actually an intelligent pickup from him there, knowing that the Taric's going to be providing really early armor, so then picking up that early Last Whisper kind of counters the Taric's...
Ooh, just a student going 1v1 against Kuznir here. He doesn't have any buffs, so he's trying to get the jump away onto Henry's, but he's going to go down here by the looks of things. Yeah, he does go down to the Elise, taking that with the red buff. The Cocoon goes down on Henry's, taking a second kill here. Can Ziggs pick... Yeah, Ziggs picks up the kill onto Elise, though. And he's going to be chasing this up. Can he kill the Garandalf? He does flash over the wall after him. The stun goes down from Garandalf, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't know if Ziggs can pick this up. The heal goes down, but the empowered auto attack is going to finish that off. But now, back down at Dragon, Pedrillian's in trouble. He's in a 3v1 situation, but Kale's here to save the day. What, the move's absolutely bursting down the Lucian there. Pedrillian using his unstoppable force to get out of the way. And that was I don't even know what that was.
Well, let me try and wrap it up for you here. We had a good catch coming in onto Druss. He gets picked off by the Elise forcing to use her flash to get the kill onto him. Taric goes in. Lucian comes round the back with the piercing light, does a ton of damage to Defunct on the Sivir. He got a bit greedy though, opted to try and go for Defunct to use his barrier and his ultimate to get away. Didn't see the Taric, so forced the Ziggs to chase after the Taric, burning his flash as well. Taric getting picked off eventually, and as they came back in, Duxbug was in an awkward position because he got caught out by the Malphite and the Kale. Kale bursts him down, having picked up his Nash's Tooth and another a Stinger and a Fiendish Codex, doing quite a bit of damage with his Q and E. And then, sort of, Pedrillion had the ability to escape using his Flash and Ultimate. But again, completely even across the board. That Dragon was picked up for the North, so they're both sitting at 27.5k.
This is such a close
game. Moment, I'd say that South team has the advantage purely in the fact that, okay, that was a rather chaotic fight and it wasn't particularly organised, and obviously they would have, in the team speak, would have been talking, oh, Tarek's going in on bottom. There's four of South on bottom.
I don't know if they're going to be able to go for this though. Kuznia does repel in, but it's not going to be able to get close enough.
But I was, so I'll just finish off in saying that, when Kuznia caught Druss there, you saw Kuznia easily beat him 1v1 there. And so when it comes to an organised team fight, we know that the South jungler is easily beating out the North jungler.
However, he did have double buff at the time and Druss didn't have any buffs. But Henry's getting caught out. He does go down to Kuznia. Kuznia repelling away from the Elise, from the Zyra ult, sorry. The Mega Inferno Bomb dealing tons of damage to Defunct and Garandalf, but Duskbug getting absolutely melted by this Kale. The Divine Intervention protecting him from the Ziggs there, and Artesh not able to get a kill in return, and that's a 3-for-0. Now Pedrillion is in lots of trouble. Dross the Student chasing him, but the Q from Pedrillion able to just keep him away. However, the ward jump from Dross the Student, I don't know if he's going to be able to catch him or not. He does get the slowdown with Cripple. If he can land the Q, then he can get the kill, but if he manages to dodge it, he does manage to get it. Can he finish it off? He does follow up.
Not sure
He's
can.
Got the ultimate, but it doesn't kill him, and he's going to be able to walk away.
That is how much armor that Pedrillion is sitting on right now.
This is exactly what I said in the Champions Select, that with Malphite building up that armor, you've got Tarek who's going to be building up that armor. Lee Sin and Renekton, they're going to have a real hard time beating them out.
Yeah, and right now the problem with the South for the North is that the South have just got better rotations, and again, I just think Kuznia has been doing a better job across the board. Although Lee Sin is 3-1, Kuznia's been in the right place at the right time, and again, Hen's not having a great game. He didn't have a great game on the Annie really earlier on, and he hasn't had a great game on the Zyra. 0-4-5. Just
yeah,
like
definitely.
Lucian is not quite anywhere near finishing his last Whisper yet, so he's going to be a while before he does the damage that he needs to. The only saving grace for the North right now is that Artesh on the Ziggs is doing a lot of damage and has nearly completed his Rabadon's death cap.
Interestingly enough, as we were saying earlier, Lucian going to be going for that Legolas build with the Bloodthirster and that Last Whisper, but Sivir also heading towards that build. So both AD carries going for that pure damage, no attack speed, but getting the massive damage on their abilities. So interesting. Garandalf the Grey getting caught out by the roots here. Ziggs doing absolutely loads of damage to him, taking like 3/4 of his health in about 2 seconds. The Mega Inferno Bomb, so close to killing him, but survives on about 100 HP there. And now Malphite getting caught out by the roots. The hench is there, but he has so much armor. Does Unstoppable Force, taking a couple of shots from Baron, but he is going to be able to walk away from that one.
Yeah, and it's 1k gold difference between the two right now. Lee has picked up his Lock at the Iron Solari right now. And to be honest, Zyra has got a Haunting Guide as well as the Sidestone, so she's going to be doing a fair bit of damage. Looks like the Satchel Charge is there.
Oh, what the Moose getting caught out by Just Student. Excellent Q there by him, but he is going to get absolutely melted by Defunct. The Zyra ult did go down, but he wasn't able to hit anyone. And now Renekton diving, 4 of them, and he may be able to get the double kill on Kuznia here. The ultimate comes down from Defunct. Ziggs picking up a kill onto Malphite, at least managing to survive against the Renekton though, and it's a 2-for-2 under the tower.
You've got to think though that if Pedrillion had his ultimate there, that would have gone way in favour of the South.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about when we were talking about the team comp selection. Although they're on their comfort champions on the North, the South just has this sort of team fight composition that you can't really beat. The only way I can see this going in favour of the North is if Artesh has the time to poke them down. And that's like I said, the only saving grace for the North right now. Artesh has got 200 CS. He's probably finished his Rabadon. He's probably going to work towards a Void Staff straight away to negate any possible any magic resistance coming out, which I think Pedrillion's probably done with his armor right now. I don't know. I just don't see the North getting into this because they're already behind.
I don't know. I think they're only just behind, and I really want to root for the North. I mean, come on. This is the final game. Don't lose faith in me yet.
I need to, but I need to be a realist here. I just think, although they pick their comfort champions, their team composition isn't working as well as the South's. The South just has the ability to lock someone down, and like like Avidia said in the pre-game analysis, the kite potential from the South right now is just better. They can kite all of the champions. Like Lee, you saw Lee try to go in and what the Moose escaped, and worse, Lee got locked down.
Yeah. While I agree that currently it is going in favour of the South, I still have faith that the North can win. Ziggs having so much damage right now, and really no one building any magic resist on the Southern team. So if Ziggs can get a really good Mega Inferno Bomb, it can definitely turn the fight. And Elise has almost all of the South's, like over half of the South's kills. So if she dies early in a fight, then it can spell disaster for the South.
Yeah, she's picked up that Sunfire Cape. They're going to be so tanky. Renekton obviously not opting to go for any damage, really. He's going to be that full tank just because he's not going to be doing damage even if he built AD. Dross the student getting caught out by a Cocoon. That means the Cocoon is down for the next few seconds. This could be an optimal time to try and get off a bit of an
Dragon
engagement.
is up.
Yeah, Dragon is up right now, but Pedrillion's ultimate is up. Everyone's ultimate on the side of both sides are up. Just a matter of who's going to be more useful.
This is going to be a really important team fight, and we are going to see the team fight coming in. The Mega Inferno Bomb goes down. Elise able to pick up that kill. Gyarados the Grey getting kind of low here. Pedrillion getting caught out. It does take a lot of damage. The Zyra ultimate does go down. It takes up Malphite though, and the Hench starting to get a bit low. But Gyarados the Grey getting caught out a bit. This is not looking good for the South so far. This fight. Gyarados the Grey trying to kite them back a bit, but he is going to go down to Duxbug. And now it's not looking good for what the Moose.
Coming up on the side, and Henry's there. What the Moose is going to get taken down. Elise flashes out of the grasping roots. Really great play right there. And this is exactly what you were saying. I should have had a little bit more faith. The Artesh on that Ziggs. No one has built the magic resist yet, and you could see why Pedrillion got melted. He was like, "Look at me, I'm tanky. I've got all this armor." And when Artesh just went, "Okay, ultimate onto my satchel charge then, and you'll probably die."
And
he
this
did.
may well actually... I don't know if they're going to be able to get the inhibitor, but they'll definitely get this tower. I mean, Ziggs has so much tower damage because of that passive. And yeah, they are just going to back away. They do manage to get the tower there. Artesh so low. If he can get a satchel charge to get out of there, he needs it. At least he's going to be able to pick up this kill. Does get it with the Venomous Bite. That's the shutdown gold as well. Not quite able to land the Cocoon, though.
Great dash from the Lucian right there, and Dross with a great kick. You see that was clutch. You need to go back and watch that. He had no vision of it coming, saw it at the last second, and had a brilliant dash out of it right there. That was so good from Duxbug.
Just really quickly rewind, and we'll have a rewatch of that. They are... Okay, yeah, we're just behind it. Hang on, let me skip forward slightly.
Nothing's happening in live anyway, don't worry.
Yeah, I'll keep you guys up to date if anything happens live. They're just South are now just pushing down mid turret while the rest of North are going back to heal up.
Yeah, we're just going to show you that.
Okay, so Artesh is just there. He's getting really low, and Elise gets the repel, does the Venomous Bite, and now the Cocoon comes out. Duxbug just narrowly avoiding that Cocoon, and then the kick from Lee knocking the Elise back, but also knocking up the Taric, letting his team escape.
To the stream.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we'll
right
head
now is,
to the live.
Middle turret has been taken by the South. Henry got taken really low. Looks like there are pings coming down on Baron. They're kind of looking to head towards it, but Henry is so low. This would be a really poor time for the North to engage. Looks like Druss goes in onto the Malphite. Cullen comes down from Lucian. Druss gets taken really low. Henry's really low. The ultimate from Zyra missing everyone. The Taric escapes by the Tenno T, but he goes down to the Renekton. Great piercing right from the Lucian, but he's in a really precarious position right now. Great Ziggs bomb picking up the Elise. Kuznia is so low. Looks like Hench picks up Defunct. Everyone is so low. What the Moose uses his ultimate. He's going to get taken out by the Lucian, and the North showing why they're so great. Looks like Pedrillion comes in.
Oh, the satchel charge! The satchel charge from Artesh surviving that. Oh my goodness, what a play.
Right there. That is going in our plays video.
Alright, we need to rewatch this and put that on YouTube, because that was an incredible play by Artesh.
And it looks like Gandalf the Grey is coming to try and defend his inhibitor. He's going to get caught out by the Henge. They're just going to take away.
He's not going to have enough to defend it though on his own. He may even go down if he goes too aggressive. But they are going to take that inhibitor and walk away happily. Although, no, he does get the slowdown. He's able. The Mega Inferno Bomb picking up the kill turret. Artesh getting the satchel charge away from the Boomerang Blade. He is doing absolute work. Artesh, you are my hero.
I tell you what, sod Andy Murray getting Sports Personality of the Year. I think Artesh should.
I've got to be honest, Artesh, when you lost faith earlier, and I was like, no, Artesh has got this. You didn't believe me, but Artesh bringing it home for the North. They didn't build magic resist. They didn't think that he's got it. Now we see on the southern team 3 Negatron cloaks coming out. They are suddenly starting to fear the Ziggs.
But look, the Void Staff has already come out from Artesh. He's already preempted that. Screw your Negatron cloaks. I've already got that penetration. Great play from Artesh. And he's picked up the Seeker's Iron Guard for the Zonya's Hourglass. So he's going to be doing mega damage right now. If he isn't being focused in the next team fight, I don't know what the South are thinking. We're not out of the woods yet, though, because we're only 1.5k ahead of the South. So let's not count our chickens before they've hatched.
Yeah, it's definitely not over yet. It is really going to be down to how long either Elise or the Ziggs last in the team fights. They are both on 8 kills right now.
North has got to make a move on Baron here. They know that Sivir's been clearing bot. I don't think they know that Elise is backed, but
yeah, they definitely they have the ward control, and the South doesn't have any vision. I feel like they could just start this if they wanted, but it looks like they may go for the bait.
Maybe he just wanted and look. Oh no, there wasn't a catch right there. That probably could have been a catch.
Yeah, I really feel like should have gone for the roost there, but Lee Sin going on Pedrillion here. Don't know if that's necessarily the best target to start the engage on, really. And it's gonna be this Baron dance, and I feel like both teams are going to be really careful on how they engage this one.
Yeah, you need to be really careful, because I think that was a wasted opportunity. There could have been a stun's come down from Tariq onto the hench. That was a bit of an odd stun. He's going to have it down for a little while. Artesh just doing the work. However, without that blue buff, he is wasting his mana.
Well, let's not forget, North team can dance around for a good couple more minutes while bot lane is being pushed down.
Yeah, and now the South either have to go back and defend or contest this Baron. But if they contest the Baron, they're gonna. That was not a good Zyra ultimate. I really hope that Kuznir didn't see that.
It looks like the South are just turning around, going for that mid lane inhibitor. Like Hench is going to walk around. The North are not going to stand for this. But look at the bot lane. The Mega Inferno Band comes onto Defunct. I don't know what the South are doing right here, because they've got a massive amount of minions attacking their next turret.
They could. Are they base racing? I'm not sure what's happening here. The inhibitor is maybe going to go down. It's still up currently. Sivir's focusing it though. It's still alive. The inhibitor and the minions are pushing this tower though. Zyra picking up a kill onto Tariq. What the Moose is getting really low. The Ignite is ticking, and it is going to be enough to get it. Ziggs picking up a kill here. Pedrillion getting really low now. This is not a good fight for the South. Defunct trying to go back, but he's not going to be able to. And the inhibitor didn't go down.
You've got to remember here that they just all-ined the Ziggs right there, and they forgot about the Lucian. They were like, Lucian doesn't matter. Zyra's picked up a bloody Leandri's Torment. Everyone on the team, this is what Ziggs has done to the North right now. He's made it so the rest of his team can get back in the game, and so now it's no longer just Ziggs that's a threat. Lucian will undoubtedly have his Triforce after this, giving him a Bloodthirster, a Last Whisper and a Triforce, and Zyra's getting almost towards, I'm guessing, what's either going to be Athene's or the can't remember what the support item's called. You'll have to fill it in here.
I can't remember either.
I think it's like this something cow.
Mikhail's
Crucible, yeah. So yeah, it's going to be walking towards one of those, and that'll be a great pickup, because that means either Ziggs will get a chunk of life back and CC removal, or the Lucian. But yeah, look, Lucian's finished his Triforce,
and that would be very good versus the Tariq as well. But it is going to be the Athenes.
The problem is now for the South that they have to focus the Ziggs, but that means they're going to mean. Surely the North are not going to put Ziggs and Lucian in the same spot. Ped's going to have to choose who to ultimate, and he used his ultimate solely on the Ziggs last time. And to be honest, they were just a bit of a poor decision making to run down that mid lane when all of the North were right behind them on really high health. And Hench is now doing a brilliant job on that Renekton. He's picked up a really late Brutalizer, which is very odd, but he's doing a great job of being that frontline tank.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a really scary situation right now for the Southern team. They were in the lead, but now they are definitely on the back foot. Both of their Nexus towers are gone. If they lose a team fight, the North can close out this game, so long as they've got like 3 or 4 members alive at the end of the fight. So the South are really going to have to play defensive right now. And the North, if they want to, can take... Like, they're going to force this bottom inhib unless the South goes for a full engage. But if they go for a full engage, the North has Baron buff and they're 5k gold ahead. Garrett the Grey getting caught out. Defunct taking loads of damage. The Lucian ult goes down. And the Mega Inferno Bomb doing so much damage. The Zyra ultimate not able to hit anyone. Kuznir getting really low. He's getting chased by the Lucian. Garrett the Grey. The Divine Intervention from Kale does go down. Trust the student. Tower diving the diving the fountain here. What the Moose taking so much damage. Divine Intervention not available. It is going to survive that one. This is going to be the bot inhib for the North team. And they're just going to be moving on to the Nexus. What the Moose is going to go down to Duxburg. And Kuznir is getting really low now. Padrillion uses ultimate. It's not enough though. Garandalf the Grey is going to go down as well. And that is going to be GG. The North is going to win this tournament. A 4-2 score. Padrillion getting taken down on the turret. They do tower dive the fountain for that kill. And that is going to be the win for the Northern team.
It's almost poetic that Ziggs picked up the last kill of the game. MVP has to be Artesh. I lost faith, but oh my word. After those satchel plays, unbelievable. That guy is a monster on Ziggs.
Artesh, you are my hero.
Glad we settled it, guys. We always knew the result was coming. I was confident earlier, lost my confidence a little bit, but do you know what? The right team won. The North were always going to be better.
I never lost my faith in the North. I knew we'd win this. So, what an incredible game, though.
But the thing is, I just don't understand. Like, South, they easily won the first game. You've got to easily give that in the Super 8 game. South easily beat out North team. They had a better team composition, won out all of their lanes. In that second game, they were still winning. And then instead of just dancing around the Baron or going to clear out their wave, they just decided to rush like down mid. I just don't understand what they were thinking. That was insane. What were they going to gain from that?
I think the main point that happened there was they didn't actually have vision of the Baron, so they didn't know whether the North were going for the Baron or not. I think they thought that the North were going for the Baron and they were going to trade the inhib for the Baron. And as everyone knows, inhib is always better than Baron. However, in the meantime, the minions were pushing the bot lane and the North team didn't go for the Baron. And to be honest, if they'd gone for it, I think the North team could have ended the game there. If they'd gone bot and just base raced, they had the minions. They could have quite easily beaten the South team in a base race, I think. But they did decide to go defensive and obviously won that team fight and pretty much secured the victory from that point.
I'm going to go quickly set up an interview, guys. I'll be back in a few seconds, so you guys just keep having a bit of a chat. I won't be long.
Sure.
So, MVP for that game, we've got to hand it to Artesh. What? That was godlike play. I mean, that satchel charge where he escaped from the Malphite ultimate. Oh my goodness. He was on, what, 10 HP? Satchel charges away from an unstoppable force. I mean, the level of in play, that was like LCS level play. That was incredible. I cannot believe I was able to cast that. I pray that Artesh comes in for an interview because that was incredible. But everyone in that game played so well. I mean, I can't fault any of the players in that game.
Yeah, I mean, no one was like just being unskillful or having an off game or anything. I just really can't get over that last minute call. Like, I just don't see what they would have got from it. It's really confused me. Because obviously they all decided to go for it. It wasn't like one person just said, right, I'm going, sod you guys. But yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, with we said kind of at the very start of the game where you had a Malphite and Tarek, you thought, oh, they're going to build up armor. That's a really good counter to people like Artesh. It's a really good counter to people like Artesh. Sorry, I'm completely missing my words. Tarek and Malphite, really good counter to Renekton and Lee Sin, and also, to the AD carry Lucian as well. And they built up all that armor, and then Artesh just he hit that tipping point where he was just chunking out so much damage, and then, Badrillion and Garandalf just realised, oh, yeah, damn, we forgot to build any MR whatsoever, and it was too late. They didn't have enough gold in the bank sort of thing to kind of change up their items.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, they seem to underestimate the amount of damage Ziggs could do. And then immediately after we'd mentioned the fact that they didn't have any magic resist, he got like a 4-man Mega Inferno bomb on their team at the Dragon, and it was absolutely devastating. And from that point on, they started to build magic resist, but it was too late because he already had his Void Staff. So it was too late to stop that snowball from snowballing.
Okay, guys.